guys doing?
Good. Pretty much excited to be on this podcast and have this conversation.
Yeah, good,
Good,
Ram.
good,
Thank you
good.
so much for having us as guests as your and as on your podcast. We have seen the past podcast videos that you have made. We had really good guests. We're really happy to be a part of that list as well.
Great, great. So just to recap, I think we are all part of the EdTech Club. We have I think I'm sure you are contributing to the community. At the same time, there are some asks that we do whenever we have the necessity to do it. I think for me specifically, I think it has been a great experience being part of the Tech Club. I'm sure it is for you guys too. But this particular podcast was started with, of course, blessings of Vardarajan, and mainly to get people like you to share your thoughts, because WhatsApp is always a mechanism where there are close to 1,000 members, right? And it's very hard to keep track of each and
Mhm.
every member what they said on a daily basis.
Right.
This gives a lot of focus to you guys and especially to Kepler. I'm sure there are a lot of viewers, not only in the EdTech club community, but also beyond that, who would benefit from that podcast, right? And in the process, I am hoping that I'll also get to learn a few things about Kepler and you guys, right? So let's get started, and basically, let's start with your backgrounds, and probably Mukin, you can go first in terms of your background, brief,
Sure.
background, your educational background, and then how you met Sanjeeth, right? And then we'll pass it on to
Mhm.
Sanjeeth, and then I will come back.
Sure. So yeah, I'm basically based out of Bangalore. Did my engineering and mechanical field. Then I worked in a analytics consulting company as a decision scientist for a while. Then I wrote CAT. I just got into IM Indore. Did my 2-year MBA from there. Post that via campus, I got into consulting. I mean, I always wanted to get into consulting. I got into strategy consulting with PwC's strategy and consulting wing. That's where I actually met Sanjeeth. It was one crazy project, and I would say we were all working around 16 to 18 hours a day. It was a nightmare project, and we were completely short of hands, and we didn't know what to do. And Sanjeeth was a senior associate. I was still an associate back then, and suddenly my director pulls in an extra hand, and somebody just comes in like an angel to save us from the project. And that project was I would say a very very tiring and not such a fancy work to do. But Sanjeet, without any hesitation, without any showing any um, uh, like any negative emotions, took up that work, worked with us for the 16 hours a day, did it very peacefully, kept us calm. And that was something very surprising because everybody was hell broke loose and people were all really confused and not know what to do. The clients were all sending us email late at night, 1 a.m., 2 a.m. And Sanjeet was there, very calm, was able to handle everything. And that's my first interaction with Sanjeet, where we worked together. But I've seen met him in the office, I've interacted with him multiple times. But that was an instance when I felt like this guy is damn calm, and we would, maybe we could definitely work with him later. And that's how I got to know him. And after a while, I was always wanted to start something, so I actually moved on from consulting. I joined a Series A startup, YC backed a startup called Cash Free Payments. That's one of India's largest payment gateways, but still a startup. So I got to work in right under the chief revenue officer and chief business officer, handling the entire revenue strategy over there. Got a lot of exposure on how startups work. That's something the reason I joined there is to learn how startups really function. Got made some good network and connections, and then I had this idea. I mean, so another background about myself is my parents have been running a tutorial center in Bangalore for more than 25 years, and they teach from my mother used to teach for engineering mathematics, and she used to teach for all those grades. And so for me, for growing up, education has been something that we used to discuss in our dinner table. um, I've been there. Like, there has been the center of my life, and we have used to discuss how syllabus is changing in CBSE, ICSE, state board, different schools. That's how we used to keep discussing and during having dinner. So we always knew that there's a problem in education. Always wanted to enter into this space and solve this. So we were brainstorming a lot, and then so one day I just reached out to Sanjeeth and like, hey, shall we do it? Then after a couple of weeks back, Sanjeeth comes back, say, let's do it. And that's how we started this.
Great, great. No, fascinating. I think, and I also see some commonalities having gone through your LinkedIn profiles. But Sanjeet, please go ahead, share your, brief story.
Sure, sure.
The
So
story is brief, but
yeah,
I'm sure your background is,
yeah, yeah. So
a lot of
background
years
wise, I'm a
experience.
bit different from Mukil. I am a Mangalorean natively, but I grew up in Mumbai. I did my engineering from a college in Mumbai. I am an electronics and telecom engineer, but I mean the culture there is we get a lot of exposure to coding regardless of our educational stream. So post my engineering, I joined a company named Dbold as a software system software engineer. Worked there for a couple of years, and then I did my MBA from IIM Kozhikode. I graduated in 2020 with a gold medal. But despite getting an MBA, being on the business side of things, the inclination towards technology and product development was always there in me. Right? It never died at any point in time. So post my MBA, I worked with the strategy and team of PwC in Bangalore. I did work on a fair amount of business strategy, cost transformation projects. But primarily, I also worked a lot on decision science. So building, multiple products for the client to uh, unlock value within their organization side. That's what I was focused on for a pretty long time. So with that, again, I think the technical inclination increased, and I started exploring generative AI. So when the Gen AI wave came in, I was absolutely fascinated with the new capabilities it unlocked, and what possibilities are achievable with the new technology as well. So I think I was exploring uh, building something interesting in this space. The itch for startup building was always within me, but a bit dormant at that point in time. So I think that's the time when Mukil approached me, and just floated the idea of building Kepler. And after giving it a fair bit of thought, I thought it's the right opportunity to build something, and we have good complementary skills. So let's get together and do it.
Great, great. Now, I think the complementary skills is something that Mukil touched upon, where you are very calm, and I'm assuming that probably Mukil is a little bit, different from that perspective. But it's good to have complementary skills, right?
Yeah.
Because we have seen many startups where you need to have that to cover the entire spectrum of things that go in a startup, right? It is no more about just product development or coding, or because it encompasses many other things. Good introductions, and I'm in a commonality I also see between the two of you is that both of you have done your management degree from IIMs, those different IIMs, correct?
Yes.
Uh, Now let's get into Kepler, right? And talk about Kepler, because I'm sure you are breathing, day and night in terms of Kepler. But once he approached, and any one of you can take this, once you both decided, what were the first things that came to your mind? Okay, you have an idea. A lot of people have ideas, right? But what is it that really, beyond the complementary skills that you had and you had worked before, and things like that, from the idea to conceiving the idea to taking it to fruition, what was that journey?
So maybe I'll take a first stab at it, and maybe Sanjeeth can add on. So Sanjeeth always used to say this, right? Like I mean, idea is something that anybody can have, because what we started building as an AI tutor initially, or what we are building, I'm pretty sure a lot of people out there might be ideating in the same space. Execution is the key. Execution is the real winner. So we did spend, I mean, before we quit our jobs, I mean, both of us were earning pretty well. I mean, quitting those jobs and convincing our parents that we're going to quit those jobs is not an easy thing. So before we did that, we wanted to make sure that this problem really exists. So we went out and we started talking to various. We used to go outside colleges, stand outside, talk to students who used to come outside, and ask them what are the problems that they're facing, talk to parents, talk to school kids. I mean, then professors, lecturers, I mean, EdTech founders who actually kind of for whom it didn't work out, people who used to work in those companies, operators, VCs who invested in tech companies. We did a lot of that. Was the initial. It was easier to do because it was just talking to people, pinging a lot of people on LinkedIn, and then getting on a call with them, trying to understand their journey, what went wrong. I mean, tech is a huge ocean. There are different segments in it, but we want to understand what is happening throughout the ocean. Getting into the data, looking at different companies' P&Ls, figuring out what's happening. That was a. I mean, we spent a lot of time researching on that. So idea is fine. We just park the idea first, and we just want to check what is happening in the space. What is the sentiments that we had? We got a lot of mixed emotion. That was actually very insightful. We got a lot of, I mean, feedback as well. A lot of VCs whom we know in person came to us and told, "Why are you building it in edtech?" A lot of people told us, not, in fact, even not to do it. They said that, like, because their investments in edtech did not work out. But a lot of other founders, when we went and spoke to them, said, yes, edtech has a lot of problems. We need people to build it. Especially professors and students really wanted it. So that's when we did a lot of research around it. And then this is more from the business side of things. And then the technology will Sanjeev will definitely explain. But that's where we did a lot of, because we wanted to have a small MVP or some kind of a working prototype before we even call it as a business. So we wanted to check and explore a lot of technologies. So we again went back, did a lot of reading, researching, studying in that technology side of things, trying to figure out which model, which library will work out. I think that even before even getting, before even starting, before even the 0 to 1, that -1 to 0 is a very crucial journey. So you prepare for that, particular way.
Yeah. So there were, as Mukil mentioned, two parts to this puzzle. The first part was the business idea, right? Like what is the pain point and how large is that pain point? The second part was the technological side of it, as to what would the product look like to fill the gap that we have identified. So while talking to the different individuals, we knew there was a pain point. But the problem with these innovative technologies is people don't know what they want, right? It's only when you give something to them and see how they react and use it, that's when we'll realize that okay, this is the correct uh, answer to that puzzle. So I think that was the biggest challenge we were facing initially. We had to experiment and iterate a lot, and a cheap prototype wasn't working out in this space. We had to build something which is closer to our end goal in order to really identify if the experience was worth it or not. And in order to do that, I think we had to spend a fair bit of time on ideating what the architecture would be, how the phase wise product releases would look like, what is the best technology or the LLM platform to power this particular product. Because I think over the last couple of years, the LLMs have evolved at a pace which is unprecedented. So every week there is some new model being released by either Claude AI or Open AI, or even Gemini for that matter. So
Correct.
the big tech platforms are competing with each other with introducing cutting edge models every week. So even we had to take a step back and evaluate, okay, is this working, or should we pick up the next one? What would help us ensure a good cost structure here? What will get us the best balance between the cost and quality we are aiming for? So I think the number of iterations were large, and that itself was a challenge in itself. And again, we uh, exercised a lot of creative freedom at this point in time as well, to get to where we wanted to get to. And along with that, we also had a team of a few individuals working for us. So building a team, making sure that they are also well versed with what we are trying to build, and our vision is clear uh, when they are operating as well, right? That was another issue in itself. So I think yeah, it was a pretty a journey with a lot of ups and downs, and we learned a lot of lessons around the way to get to where we are at this point in time.
Great. Yeah. So, couple of things that come to my mind when you both of you were talking about your idea to MVP is basically you went through a design thinking approach, right? To start off, to talk to the teachers, talk to the students, talk to in the EdTech, in the education community, not even EdTech, education community, just to get their feel for what are the issues that they are facing. Uh, I'm sure we have come across many entrepreneurs who uh, they are tech entrepreneurs to start with, and they immediately get into the solution rather than the problem definition itself. And it's good to see that both of you were engaged in that journey to say, let me really distill this problem to the extent that I understand and I'm able to come out with a solution, right? Next is the MVP that you guys talked about, right? And without an MVP or a prototype, you cannot really gauge whether the customers are really going to take this forward because,
Correct.
as you rightly put it, Sanjeeth, I think the customers, they might tell you a problem, but then the minute you take back or take take a solution to them or even a prototype, that's when they really give you that feedback,
Correct.
right? and
Yes.
and I think that's a very good thing, and I'm sure because this podcast itself is also going to reach out to many entrepreneurs, budding entrepreneurs, or people who have ideas, right? And this approach of saying, okay, let me define the problem, let me do an MVP prototype, and then move on to the next stages if all of them are successful. Of course, ups and downs are there in startups, and we all see that. And this is also, as young entrepreneurs, you are also showcasing that you can, with a bit of experience in the corporate world, you can come out of it and start your own. And somewhere I read, correct me if I'm wrong, you are bootstrapped even today, correct?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, that's even better because a lot of VCs, even if you were to at some point in time look at funding, one of the first things that they would ask is, okay, have you put your own money, right? Have you put a skin in your game, in other words, right? So, and you have, and you have also proved that you are generating revenue and things like that, which is great to see. Now let's delve a little bit deeper into the product itself, and
Yeah.
you don't have to tell us or share the intricate details or things that you may not want to share in this forum. But if you can take us through the journey of what is the basic idea, and then what are the features that you started with initially in your MVP and all those things, what you envisioned, and also what changes you propagated. See, Sanjeev, you talked about different LLMs, right? I'm sure in some form or shape, the LLMs might have probably changed the way you thought about features also,
Yeah.
right? I don't know. I'm just guessing. So if you can take us through the journey of idea to MVP to, so and what features, why did you, what prompted you to start there, and then where you are now at a high level, then we can probably go into the little depth in terms of the
Sure.
offering itself.
Yeah. So when we began Kepler, we actually wanted to build an AI tutor, and not another chatbot or not another audio bot. But this was we wanted it to be a multimodal model where your laptop itself will transform into a professor. So the model will see you, it will talk to you, it will listen to you, and also create video content that's very personalized for you, so that you can learn any particular topic. So we started off with something very difficult to teach, which is engineering mathematics. So engineering mathematics M1, M2, and M3 is quite difficult. We actually started focusing on it. We took syllabus of VTU and we spoke to a lot of students, and that's when we started. People, a lot of it was really initially when we started with this, we were also not sure if we could build this product. The scale at which the kind of models that we are referring to was very difficult. We spent a lot of time on this particular product. We were actually building it out. The core is the video creation aspect as well, and around it was the entire AI tutoring element. We were building it. We were doing a lot of beta testing. We launched the product in the market as an MVP. We're doing a lot of beta testing, getting some feedback from students across the country. We had, I think, over around 250 to 500 users at that particular point. That's when, from the EdTech Club, I think that's also we want to mention how why EdTech Club is really crucial for our on shaping Kepler's journey. Somebody had posted a message. I don't read. I never used to read all the messages at that point. Somebody had just posted asking for, can somebody help me create video content for their EdTech company. We thought it could be a side gig. We had a fantastic workflow which could actually transform textbooks. Actually, we were feeding in textbooks, engineering mathematics textbooks, and used to create 40-hour, 50-hour courses for engineering mathematics. So we thought, like, somebody's asking, our servers are free at the night times. Like I told Sanjeeth, our servers are anyways free. We can use our servers at night time to create this person's content. Small side gig, we can actually start making some pocket money kind of thing. And then we did it for that person, and then somebody else also reached out. They wanted to create a much bigger like hundreds of hours of content was required. Then we thought this problem seems more interesting, because I mean, earlier we were focused on B2C, and then suddenly we get a lot of insights. I mean, we got a lot of interest from the B2B segment, purely from our EdTech Club itself. We didn't even look outside the EdTech Club. We just started getting people, and so via referral and others. Suddenly, a lot of big players started asking us, can you also help us create video content? We need to create a course for mechanical engineering. We needed to create courses for computer science engineering, and somebody for K-12. And that's how this entire Kepler actually evolved. We started doing a lot of shaping. So we parked our AI tutor. We're actually positioning it as a white label solution where we want to offer it to any other existing edtech player. But currently, what we are providing as a service is we're helping any player, any company. It could be a tech company, it could be any other traditional company or any marketing team within a company where they want to convert any text material into explainer videos. Now, this explainer videos are more in the likes of Three Blue, One Brown or Khan Academy style content, but we're also adding in a lot of animations right now with images and making it more engaging. So our model can do it. It could be onboarding, employee onboarding documents. It could be something about your product explainer. Some documents that can be transformed into videos. It could be something. It could be any concept. It could be physics. Yesterday we were doing chemistry. We were chemistry, mathematics, biology. We were life sciences. Various topics, right? If for any kind of entrance exams, we're also working with test prep companies as we speak for GMAT, GRE, SATs, where Kepler could actually rapidly create content. So how we differ as well from from any other models, right? And any other platforms. Kepler here can be easily wrapped around any company, edtech company's academic knowledge and their delivery method. Because every company knows their audience. They've been operational for at least like 10 plus years or more than 20 years. They know their audience pretty well. They know what kind of delivery works. They know how they need to be taught. So all that they know that, but creating this video content is extremely expensive. They need an instructor. They need a studio, camera, recording,
Or a designer,
post.
whatever.
That's
Right.
a huge. I didn't know this was a monumental cost. Companies were spending lakhs together just to create a couple of hours of content. And we know some professional design studios which charge almost lakhs just for a couple of minutes of videos itself. We found it very surprising because we were able to do it at a very affordable price range and the same quality of content, and we could easily customize it to their particular needs. So we had three big levers, which is our creative depth. Like, model can be really customized as per your requirements. Second thing, it is super fast. We can create like hundreds of hours of content rapidly within a day. So currently we are doing 40 plus hours in a day, and we can go even beyond this. And uh, I mean, and the last thing is we're super affordable. When we mention our price point, we're also not sure how to price it. So initially we were very confused on how to price this product. Should we price it based on the cost that we incur, or is it something at the market value? So anytime any price point we say, people initially, I mean, immediately they convert to us. So that's three ways in which we are also. I mean, Kepler is able to scale right now. That's when we figure out we have found our early PMF, and we're able to, I mean, we can right now we're looking forward to more of scale, where Kepler as a platform. Currently, we're providing like a B2B service. So the next steps is to launch a self-serve where people could actually start playing with Kepler themselves. So we are also prepping for it.
Yeah, adding a bit more color to what Mukil mentioned. Uh, so yeah, from a technological standpoint, we have the capability to cater to a wide range of clients as well. So there are through different conversations, what we understood is that there are clients who are pretty price sensitive, and there are clients who are pretty quality sensitive, right? They'll want the best quality video, but and they're ready to pay a larger higher price for it. So we developed our workflows, our technology in such a way that we can cater to both these ends. Whether someone wants wants an affordable solution, we can build a standard explainer video for that client. And if they want a higher end offering, a very high quality offering, we can build that as well. We'll have a free flowing animation video for catering to that set of clients. So through our conversations, we were able to iterate further on what we had in place earlier, and make sure that we're branching out to cater to a wide variety of needs in the market. And as Mukil mentioned, right now we are more like a content creation company, not just an edtech company. Edtech is one of our biggest client target client segments, but we can also cater to a wide variety of other use cases. So whether it's someone trying to generate their students interest in a topic at all, right? So we can even do those kind of videos. If someone is trying to upskill their faculty and make sure that they are learning in a language that is comfortable for them, so we can even do that. If there is a marketing team which wants to create awareness about their new offering or about their product, then also we can come into the picture and help them out. So right now we are getting to a stage where we are not just edtech focused. We are trying to broaden the spectrum of what we can do, and which clients we can cater to. And just a very quick description from a tech standpoint. We are not a direct text to video model that you might expect from something like Sora and its other counterparts, right? we
Mm, mm,
we have our own workflow, our own agentic patterns within that workflow, through which the multiple and an ensemble of LLMs work with each other to build the different parts of the video. And once these different parts are built, we combine them in order to get the final rendered video. So pretty much a lot of design and engineering effort has gone into building this proprietary workflow, and we have everything developed in house. We are not using a patchwork of tools in order to build this video. Everything that we do is done in one particular sequence within our own environment itself.
Yeah. And also
good.
Kepler currently I mean we explored this. We can create content in any Indian language. We are doing it in Marathi and Odia currently for clients. And we want to both the visuals on the content and the screen can be in Marathi, and also the audio will be in Marathi. And we can also clone the instructor's voice. We can take, let's say, your voice, and we can make it look like it's you who's actually speaking. So we are making it more natural in those aspects as well. So as we speak, we are improving. And yeah.
Right. Good. No, there's a lot of things that you guys talked about, especially in terms of the amount of work that you have done, the kind of uh, effort that you have put in to make sure that right from the time the input is given by the client, that you are able to take that and stream all of this together to produce the output that they deserve in the language that they are looking at, right? And I think that broadens the market segment, not only in terms of the industry segment, but also in terms of the languages,
Yes.
right? So if I can go a little bit deeper to ask you one or two examples of in maybe two segments, right? One is EdTech, obviously, that is going to be your Swan. And if you can give me another example in a non-EdTech segment, right? What is it that, as a client, if I'm the client, what is it that I need to provide? I know what the output is going to be, right? That is mainly for my learning development or my employees or whatever it is. But what is the input that I need to give? And if you can take one or two segments to explain that, that will be helpful.
Sure. So I think one large segment is the UGC mandated online programs,
Mm,
BBA programs and MBA programs. These are a different sector itself. So what we get
mm,
from various, so let's say we need to create a 2 credit course. So let's say 30 hours of content, 4 credit to 60 hours of content. So if somebody wants to create this, and let's say all that we get as an Kepler can will require as an input is just the syllabus copy that we share. What are the
mm,
modules and what are the topics within it, and then let's say the
mm,
prescribed textbooks. So we train Kepler on these textbooks. Or maybe it's a 1 day's effort. The model gets trained on this first. It understands what are the topics that's relevant, because it's Indian students, let's say in tier three city in Maharashtra, but they are, let's say, non-technical students. For them, we are teaching something like what's like let's say a course like cybersecurity, or let's say slightly around this 10 concepts. So model needs to get little used to it. We first do that. So the you and then we what the requirement we need is just the syllabus copy and the textbooks. More data is better, and we just need some information like who is the audience, what kind of pace do they need? They need detailed narrations, or do they need just short this thing? Do they need more jazzier videos, or do they need very calm and composed videos? So those kind of like basic inputs of additional instructions that we could really get. Are they going to be mobile first or they desktop first? So such instructions really help us in doing it. So once we get these, and that's all that there's one kind of input that can be fed into Kepler. That's it. And the model does entirely, and it creates the full 40 hours of course in my by micro-sized content like 10 minute videos or 20 minute videos, and then we will be able to create it. So that's one way of doing it. In other cases, we see this where some GMAT prep where people have the questions and as well as the solutions, all teachers handwritten notes. So they want all these questions and solutions to be converted into short 2 to 5 minute videos. So they give us the input and the output here. They just want to make, let's say, it's a geometry problem. They want to make it more visual, help students understand what is the ratio between median and, let's say, altitude of a triangle. So they give us this particular information. I mean, this Kepler is very good at mathematical animations, especially. So it creates good animations and it creates to them, and they can give their branding. Here are the prescribed colors we need. Here's a sample 30-second audio of our instructor. So these kind of inputs is fine. So we don't. So Kepler is like not, so that's where it becomes very customizable for people. We don't. It's not like we expect the same format of input. Sometimes clients have a lot of input. Sometimes clients have just a one pager. So that's how it operates. And
Yeah,
let's
So
say,
and
basically,
mainly
what you're
what
saying
we,
is, yeah, basically what you're saying is, instead of the prompts to the chat GPTs and
yeah.
the Claude, you are basically taking those prompts because yours is a customized process. And you want to make sure that the inputs that you are getting from the client is basically streamlined to the core before you actually start engaging in the entire the Kepler process. Am I
Yeah,
right?
so one thing is we don't need the clients to do any
Mhm.
sort of pre-processing on their data before sharing it with us.
Correct, correct.
So right now we are getting sources as scattered as a PDF file in one particular link, a website itself that we'll pick up the data from. The third link would be a document which has a blog within it. So we are taking content from all of these sources without the client having to pre-process or change any of it, and that is fed into our workflow to create the video that they need. And one important thing that I wanted to call out is it's not just the information, the theming guidelines, the styling guidelines that we require. What we, I think, require upfront is the purpose of creating that video itself. So there are different, we have come across different purposes, right? Sometimes it's just for someone to learn a particular concept, right? That's the most basic or the core use case that we cater to. But in another occasion, we came across someone who just wanted to generate interest amongst the learners, right? There's a larger course, but they want to have a teaser which can evoke interest and get them prepared for what is to follow, right? So that's a different use case altogether. Then the third use case is more of a B2B one. So they have an offering, right? And they want to make sure that there is a high level of awareness about that offering amongst the right decision makers. uh, but instead of creating an instruction manual and floating it amongst the target audience, they felt it's better to create a video that will kind of keep the audience engaged and immersed in
Engaged. Sure.
their particular content. So that is the third, that is another use case beyond edtech
Yeah.
altogether, right? Where you have some you have some product or a tool that you want to get in front of the decision makers, but you are searching for the right way to get it done. So that's where again we are coming into the picture. So talking of non edtech, there is another conversation we are having on the side, or although in the early days. So right now, a concept that is gaining traction is hyper focused marketing, right? You want to make sure that the right material gets in front of the right person, even though that material might be designed specifically for one particular person. And there's a concept of persona as well. So they want to make sure that every individual watches an own version of the product catalog they want to portray. So even in terms of showing that product catalog, they want some level of immersion. They want to make it more interesting for anyone to watch it. So we are also trying to get into that space where we can create a commercial, or we can create a storefront that changes basis what basis who the target is, right? Basis who the visitor of that particular page is. So that is another use case beyond edtech. uh, yeah, I think mostly if you
Mhm.
discount for the core segment being edtech, we can get into product promotions. We can get into creating customer awareness, creating interest about some idea or concept.
Currently, we're also working with companies and like product on product documents. We're feeding it in and we're converting it into videos. So in terms of merchant onboarding cases, it's people
Mm.
hate reading. So if you give them manuals, it's good, but they prefer to watch a video in their language. So that's something that we are working with certain payment companies as well. Creating this merchant onboarding videos.
I'm just thinking of not a tech per se, but
Mhm.
even learning and development, right? That cuts
Yeah,
across
Yes.
many industries, right?
correct.
So if I were to tell you just to explore that there is an accounting firm or a financial services firm who wants to train their employees, or even when employees, when candidates come in, new recruits come in, they want to basically take them through the journey specific to the kind of things that they do, right? And they want to convert these, whatever material they have into videos, short videos, and take them through the process of this is how a taxation is done, this is how an accounting is done, at a not at a high level, but at a very deeper level. So if they were to do this, I'm sure uh, uh, you would be able to do it, right?
Actually, we are actually doing something like this. We are doing it in
Uh-huh.
India. There are around like hundreds of these accounting, CA, CFA, CMA coaching
Correct.
institutes, and
Right.
they all have their own way of teaching. And so, one of the chief learning officers, she told us that accounting, especially the ledger reconciliation, is a very, very boring way of. I mean, it's not, people don't find it to be very exciting to study. It's just text, and its balance sheets are just too much of numbers. It's, people find it very difficult. And if we could make it very visual and make it more simple, people would love it. And we currently doing we've done a lot of work around finance as well, especially in explaining very advanced finance concepts, making it more visually engaging. So exactly, that's the kind of customers we are targeting. And thanks that you brought it up. Yeah, those one of
Right.
L&D segments is something that we are trying to target as well.
Good. 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 So let's get into the business side of things, right? So, from what I understand, and please correct me if I'm wrong, basically you are targeting B2B, especially with colleges. You mentioned UGC and all, and also the companies across multiple industries. Currently, where is your sweet spot? Is it more on the colleges and universities, or is it more on this one, or is it equally spread?
So actually, the colleges would be a sweet spot, but to be very candid here, it's the sales cycle is not that simple with colleges and universities. You always need someone to help you knock the door, or else you don't get that. If you don't get that first introduction, it's very difficult. Because our conversations cannot happen with professors because they're not the ones who actually are the purse holders. Rather, it must be with someone as the senior management. The sales cycle there is quite lengthier, but what we have seen is it's a very, very education, especially, is a very referral driven business. It's all about whom do you know, that matters a lot than what do you know. If I mean, and I've seen that it's people, if let's say somebody has been building websites for colleges, they somehow build a rapport maybe 20 years back doing that. They can, using that rapport, they can keep working on building new products for the same college. They would have probably started as a website developer, and now they could be into LMS space itself. So that's what we find as a very difficult area within colleges, because that's our, again, sweet spot. Our easiest, I mean, I would say easy to, like from GTM point of view, the easier to cater is the edtech companies who are actually really open to explore a lot of new things. Where they're also, because we are very early stage company, it's been exactly just 1 year since we started Kepler. So we are yet to build that credibility before we could, get deals signed with colleges. So those edtech companies who actually operate with colleges, we actually help them out in helping them create their entire content. So they go, they just knock the door, and we create the entire content. So we are in talks. We are using them as a channel to go and do it. That's how it works for us. And also, all the tech companies, they have various courses inside, and they want to refresh their courses, create additional courses. They are actually a sweet spot right now because the deal is very bulk. People need more than 100 hours of content in a year. That's perfect. That works wonderful for us, schools and colleges as well. So that's the sweet spot for us currently, because our model is also very trained into this. We are also, like I mentioned, we are building for the product teams and all, but that's something that's going to come in the next stages. But currently, it's more around these edtech companies and other educational consulting companies which help the colleges.
Great, great. So, what do you have customers only in India? Do you have overseas customers? How's that? Have you started to, uh, you know, just share your journey so far in terms of the customer base, right? Beyond the industry and so on, but in terms of whether it is worldwide customers or specific to India
Yeah.
at
So,
this point of time.
yeah, we want to grow Kepler into a global brand for sure, and cater to the audience outside of India as well. But as of now, our clients are all Indian. We are also working indirectly with a couple of governments as well, within
Mm.
a couple of state governments within India. And apart from that, we are working with some of the other edtech firms. But having said that, we do have ambitions to grow internationally. I think more about a credibility game. Once we build a strong credibility in India, and we are able to get a foot in the door with one international player, then I think it will there'll be a different dimension altogether for us.
Yeah, yeah. I'm sure. I'm sure it is because You want to make sure that you cater to the market that you are more comfortable with, and then take this as the opportunity presents itself. How many people do you have currently, and in terms of your organization, right? If you can shed some light on that.
We're a very lean team. It's just Sanjeeth and me, two founders, and we have two interns working with us currently. Earlier, we had a couple of interns who were really helping us with this. We had, during the intern season, we hired a lot of interns. Even now, we are hiring a couple of interns. We have just at the verge of finish closing the hiring process. So we're gonna get another additional two folks. So we are a very lean team, and we want to operate it in this fashion. That's what makes it more cost effective. We mainly use the interns for R&D work, and those kind of engineering work.
Okay. And in terms of competition, right? See, always when you talk about startups, you have to talk about competition. I'm sure you have your eyes glued in on some of the competitions that you have, not because you want to be better than them or whatever it is, just to know what is out there, right? Uh, whom do you see as biggest competitors? You don't need to name names, but which are they big companies or mid-sized segments? Are there similar startups in your space that has come about in since you started?
Got it. So what we are doing right now, we have done a lot of research on this. I think we are the only players in India who's doing this, creating these kind of video content. There are a couple of US companies, they're YC backed, who are also using this similar tech flow and they're trying to create content, but they are not very flexible, and the pricing is very different, and their operations is very different. The kind of videos they create is also very different. But our biggest competitors are not these companies who do something very similar to us. It's rather, I would say, it's the internal design teams that are there within companies. When we reach out to the, I mean, head of learning of all the tech companies, the first question that they would have to answer internally is justify outsourcing it to somebody else. If it is it something that's a big issue that we faced, because people that's when people asked us to create the self-serve link where people can just play with the product themselves. They're happy to take a license rather than provide it like a service. And the second is there are a couple of traditional design studios who do this. To be very honest, they do create very high animated content, more like movies, but they do take weeks together to create probably a 5-minute video. And the third set of competitors, I would say there are these other, like I mentioned, third is what the other startups are, like AI tools. When companies are open to exploring these AI tools, like Hagen for creating AI avatars. I'm happy to drop the names. It's got this company called Nolify, which is also a YC backed company, does something very similar. But I think they're mainly very, very early stage. They're still working in US. So they're not direct competitors, and people trying to explore that. There are three levers that we really, we can really use. One is our model is very flexible and very customizable to every individual player. The second thing is the scale at which we can create content. Like if you need a 40 hours of video course, you can within 2 days you'll be ready. And the third thing is the price. And in India, it's a very price sensitive market. It's working out really well for us. So that's where we are with competition. What we believe is there will be a lot of other players in the market who will come up maybe sometime in the future as well. So we need to be prepared for that. So that's how we see it right now.
Yeah, and through our conversations, we know of a typical patterns the companies currently follow in order to achieve the same objective, right? So they'll use something like a Claude to create a storyboard for their existing content, right? Then they'll feed the storyboard to 11 labs, get the audio for it, and then they will feed it to some tool like Hagen or Synthesia to get an avatar for that particular audio, and then they will use some other tool to get everything together and have the visual for what they want to show, right? So this process exists, but it's very inefficient. People have mentioned that it takes a lot of effort. They'll have to hire an in-house team itself to do these things, and the cost for this is also on the higher side compared to what we are offering. So this process in itself, I guess, would be a competitor, although inefficient. And our main goal is to make sure that people get past this and use a more efficient solution that we are offering.
Yeah. Because most of our current customers have done this, didn't work out for them, so they came to us. So that's a little flex we have.
That's a nice way to put it, right? Because I completely agree. Because I'm sure there are many people who go through one tool to the next, right? Just like Sanjeeth explained, and then trying to string all of this together. Not only they do lose a lot of time, one tool may not really understand the
Yeah.
where it's coming from and things like that. In fact, what you are trying to do is to string everything in one sequence, which makes it a lot more tangential, not tangential, in terms of aligned,
Mhm.
right from the objective of what the client wants to producing that output meeting those objectives, right? I think that's something that you can carry on. What are your? I do have other questions beyond the product, but and Kepler, but uh, uh, what are your future plans in terms of where you see this going towards? See, as Sanjeet and both of you rightly put it, right? Every day there is a new model coming in. There are so many changes in the AI industry, right? One cannot sit and relax saying that, okay, we have achieved wherever we are, right? And you guys are hungry and you want to expand and things like that. Yeah, if I were to, not even 2 years or 3 years, in the next 1 2 years, where do you think you will be in terms of from a feature perspective that you are working on? So this is something that a potential customer like me or anybody else can look forward to, saying that, look, this is what they have today. This is what they are aiming at in about 6 months or 1 year. If you can shed some light on that, coupled with the fact that you also alluded in terms of the overseas market, is there something that needs to be slightly different that you need to build into this product to go beyond India? Those are the two questions which are kind of related.
Sure. Yeah, let me take a stab at this. So, the first question, right? I mean, from a product roadmap standpoint of view, in the 2 years down the lane, we are looking at. So currently, the kind of animations that we create, we started at was more of a text explainer. Then we started adding a lot of visuals to it, adding images to it. So the level of animation as we speak, what we were doing 3 months back is not what we have right now. We have drastically changed, and I mean, every client we speak to, it's like a challenge. It's a new problem that we keep solving, and because new verticals, it keeps scaling up. So we have a very future state kind of a video, more around the TED kind of videos. I think you would have seen, which are really animating and animated and really really wonderful. So we want to create videos of that scale at a fraction of the cost. So diffusion models might be able to do it, but they are not the cost effective way of doing it, and they are not, I mean, consistent as well. So we want to create videos of superior animation that's going to have a way higher impact with students. The second product angle is making it more personalized. Currently, we are doing it. How do we create extremely personalized video for each learner? Like it could be a class of 100 students, and not 100 students are going to get the same video. So each student should get a video that, so that it's created by understanding that user's persona, user's profile, that students will likes and dislikes, and then we create a video for them. So these are like the two main items that we have mainly from the product standpoint.
I think
Um,
the other the other way forward is to build a self-serve
yeah.
platform itself. We want customers to or clients to quickly try that out. There should be as less friction as possible in trying it out. So something that can work as a drag and drop interface for anyone to quickly experiment with and then approach us, right? So that is another thing we're aiming for, and essentially it's more like getting into the footsteps of some of the leading players out there in the content creation space. So they have a mix of offerings, right? They have a self-serve subscription, which anyone can try out and use very quickly. And then they have an enterprise grade subscription where they are supposed to engage more closely. There is some white glove handling done behind the scene to make sure that they get the right personalized service. So we want to make sure that a different operating model works for the client's basis, their particular profile or persona. So I think that is one angle of looking at it. The other thing is, I think, diversification in terms of the customer segment altogether. So right now there are there are large companies which can leverage your existing videos, apply enhancements on top of it, and create a better promotional video, which is more engaging. So we want to be able to do that from scratch itself, right? Take any boring piece of content that you have within your organization and translate that into an animation rich video of the kind that Mukil just mentioned. So I think these two are the two big goals that we have from a product standpoint itself.
So what was your
How
two-year?
far are you?
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry. How far are you from a self-service model?
We are, I think, almost there. So currently, we are trying to reduce the error rate. So our to begin with, I think several months back, half of the videos used to have some errors in it. When I mean errors, it could be some overlaps and not something that's not visually explaining correctly. So I think from there we have come all the way close to 90-95%. We want to reduce it even more. Currently, what we do, the only manual effort is somebody to QC the videos before we deliver it to our clients. So going forward, we want
Okay.
to make that error rate. We're reducing it 90. It's coming out 95. So at from 95, we want to increase the success rate to, sorry, not error rate, success rate to close to 99. Once that is there, I think that's when we will launch it. So we can, it's, for us doing it is going to take us a couple of months together. So it's maybe by the beginning of next financial year, we should be able to do it. Or close to April, May is when we are planning to launch the self-serving.
Hmm. Okay. I'm sure like you mentioned earlier, that the edtech space is a difficult market, right? Be it in schools or colleges. What is your take on this, having worked with that for any yeah, new budding entrepreneur or people who want to get into the edtech market? What is your thought process? If you can shed some light
Yeah,
on your
I'll
thoughts.
take a quick stab
Mhm.
at it. So from
Yeah.
an edtech standpoint, I think there is a big negative sentiment which is wrongly placed. Because when we were starting out, the moment we mention edtech, people mention that you're taking a big risk,
Yeah.
or edtech is a bad word. Why are you building for edtech and so on. But I think education edtech might have its booms and bursts, right? But education itself is never dead. There's always a need for education in this market, and it is ever growing, given the push from the government, or the push from the audience itself to upskill themselves, learn new particular technologies, and so on. And I mean, there are multiple layers to this edtech space itself, right? When people think about edtech, what comes to their mind first is some online product through which an instructor is teaching you with you sitting in
Right.
front of it, right? But
Yeah.
but that's not the only thing that qualifies as edtech. There are other players in the ecosystem. There are test administrators, there are test evaluation platforms, there are
Mm.
platforms which maintain and verify the identity of the student itself. Then there are content creators like us, who who try to be the backbone of creating digital content for these edtech players, and so on. So there are multiple layers. It's multifaceted, and it's not just one narrow use case that qualifies as edtech.
Mhm.
So overall, I think that edtech, the the bad publicity shouldn't be something that would discourage an individual from starting out in this space. There is a huge potential which is still untapped, and
Yeah.
worth exploring.
And one thing I would like to say, add more tech to edtech. It's not just having online classes or moving from a blackboard to a smart board is not allowed. That's not the only tech angle that you could think about. Because I mean, any budding entrepreneur must just go to the root cause of the problem in education. It could be having to pay for for a UPSC coaching is even today it's 2 lakhs, JE is still 1.5 lakhs. What can be done to bring down that cost? That's how we started Kepler, and we're in this content creation space. We're trying to do it as affordable as possible. So look for those root cause problems. Like what is a student's problem? Like why is someone even doing an online certification? Is it for a to actually to learn something, or is it just a real estate in their resume? Try to understand that particular problem and what is, let's say somebody wants to get a job, what is blocking them. Is it just not, do they need a big fancy resume, or do they need a interview preparation? What is that they need? So that's that solving that root cause problem, and then you can explore into multiple other segments. So I think that's more important, identifying the core problem and not just addressing symptoms. I think that will be the perfect way to go forward in this particular
You both of you brought up a very interesting point, and as you were narrating it, I also kind of went back to some of the conversations that we have had recently on the Tech Club, specific to employability, right? Now, we all know that the minute the candidates graduate, there's only about 40% of them or 35% of them get employable, right? One of the main things is the skill set that they carry, which is not matching with what the industry wants, right? If your solution, whether it is in full or part, can help in, like, Mukil, you talked about personalized learning, right? If that can be bridged to a large extent, right? And your videos, whatever those are, can be specifically looked at from that lens to bridge that gap, right? Along with, see, obviously they need some practical,
Mhm. Yep.
experiments and projects and things like that. But at least this will get them to get their basics right.
Correct.
And we have all been in the industry enough to understand that many of the candidates come into the industry and start learning the basics,
True.
which should not be the case, right?
True. Very true. Correct.
So I'm sure not only you can, Kepler can actually be important cog in that wheel, but also we can look at collaboration with other players beyond within EdTech Club and also beyond to
Mhm.
string together that and bridge that gap, right? I don't know all the pieces at this point of time, but just by talking to you guys, seems like you can be one of them. Where a specific piece can be helpful to bridge that gap, right? That's good. Uh, just a few more minutes. And what I wanted to touch upon is in terms of your revenues and your growth. Obviously, you are bootstrapped. I'm not going to ask you about revenues, but are you at some point of time thinking about, look, in order for me to scale, I need to probably go to an external person and be it debt, be it equity, be it even VC funding or whatever. Are you thinking along those lines, or is it too early to think about that?
So actually, we'll be very candid with you on this. Initially, when we had an idea, I thought the first thing to do is to go to a VC and ask for money. But that we really realized in the hard way that's not how it works. Because once we just started and put it on our LinkedIn that we have started something, we got a lot of inbound calls. I think we spent months, weeks together, just full of VCs asking us, "What are you building?" And I mean, maybe because of a pedigree and other reasons, we got a lot of VC interest, and we took a little wrong approach in the initial phase, wasted some time there. But right now we are focusing more on identifying the PMF. We are in the early PMF stage. We want to get more customers, more verticals need to be tapped. Ensure things are in the right. We need to know how many resources are required. Actually, like currently we're working with interns. Once we have full-time resources, we want to understand how things work. So that's the we want to figure out a couple of things. So again, we need a I mean, maybe another quarter at least to again go for in that particular to set the foundation there. Then we would again re-touch point with our VCs. We are in still talks with VCs. We give them updates. We keep having these conversations on what's happening. So once we have that thing ready, then we would again go back to our VCs, and then we would have plans to maybe whichever works. If I mean equity or debt, probably raise our first round, and that's something. Currently, we have just have got a very small grant from the government of Karnataka. That's something that we was an initial little helped us a little bit. So currently we are profitable, we are making revenues, but now it's more about making it, I mean, making the numbers larger. So that's the next immediate goal, and then we would be able to have comfortable conversations with investors.
So I think we were just discussing it internally yesterday as well. So right now we are at a point where we want to increase our R&D spend, both in terms of tech as well as resources, and make sure that we are rapidly delivering on all the pilots we are running. Right, we want to improve our turnaround time even further, to make sure that we can scale very quickly. So I think as we do it, after a point in time, we'll definitely look for more capital to make this process faster. But I mean, if I have to give an advice to any of the individuals are looking to build a startup or break into this space, that would be that stick to the basics, right? Like always try to build a product first, build it for your customers, and try to get a revenue before you even start looking for funds.
Yeah.
Because I think traction and revenue is all that matters at the end of this day.
Again, another very candid
That's
talk. If you go to any VC's page, it will be mentioned. We don't look for traction. We don't look for revenue. And they
right,
talk to you that way, and we really thought that's how it is. But then a VC
right.
friend told us that's not how it works. Nobody is going to invest unless and until you have traction, you have revenue, you have these X growth, month over month growth needs to be this much. Only then they would go for it. So I mean, so you need revenue, you need traction. If you're ever building something, look for revenue first, and then you could
Correct.
then build your pitch deck, is what I will say.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I think that's very, very good advice. And many entrepreneurs, do fall into the trap of saying, okay, I'll go and get and use other people's money, right? So, so yeah. Last couple of questions. This is more of one is, if you were given a magic wand, a magic wand,
Mhm.
right? What would you use it for?
Like within Kepler or
Yeah, within Kepler. It's basically something that you are given freedom to. Uh, a magic wand might be $100,000, or it
okay.
can be in money, it can be in anything, right? So, what is, in other words, what I'm trying to ask is, if you had infinite capital, right? There is nothing. We all know that there is nothing called infinite capital, but assume that you have an infinite capital. What would you use it for?
I think I would straight away take a flight to the US and
Yeah.
start selling Kepler.
That's the thing. I was about to say the same thing because what we realized is we spent a lot of time. We thought US GTM is wonderful, but and because the margins are super high, we always wanted to do that. Sitting in India, making calls, sending emails, and never help you kick those. You must be there in person, shake hands, and get those deals done. So I think it's that's where we would use our magic wand, is to get in touch with the initial customers in US, Canada, and those regions.
So I'm going to give you the magic wand because as you were explaining the problem, I do know of one person
Oh,
who can help you guys.
okay.
He's based in the US. He has been there for a long time, and he is helping companies from India to set up in the US, including first of all understanding the market, whether your product fits in, right from a product market fit,
Mhm.
in terms of Indian US market to strategizing with you to take this forward, right? And he has already done 3, 4 already, right? So offline, I will definitely introduce you
Definitely.
to
Yes.
him,
Yeah.
and then you guys
Thanks.
can take it forward, right?
Thank you so much.
Uh, Anything that you want to talk about from this is my last question, of course, about the EdTech club itself. I'm sure you have contributed a lot to it, and also you have gained a lot from it. Uh, Anything additional that you want to talk about, not only on the EdTech club, but anything that I might have missed to ask you guys.
So I think what we have found out in the last few months is there is nothing which can replace face to face conversations and meetups, right? So meeting someone, helps to build the right level of trust, and that what takes even the business conversations forward. So I think the EdTech Club has been a very good opportunity for us to meet like-minded individuals, understand. So that's a way of doing some primary research in the market itself. Right? You understand what others are doing, what might be a strong need in the market, and so on. So I think attending those events and being a part of the community has
Yeah.
been instrumental, not only from a business development standpoint, but also from a personal growth standpoint as well.
True. Because we met Varadhu at a very random event in HSR. We were just walking around Agra Lake. I just met him, and that's how I got into this huge network. And
I
I
think
think
you're talking
if I
about the
hadn't,
Agra walks.
yeah, if I hadn't
Yeah,
met
right.
Varadhu there, I don't think we would have even pivoted into the. I mean, it's little. We're not sure what would have happened, but yeah. So we again, I'm happy to even host events. We are very, very happy to host events. I'm a part of a bigger startup network, so would love to host more of these. Let's say it could be a brunch on Saturday or Sunday, whichever day works. We can have a regular meetup maybe every month. We could have a meetup in Bangalore, one in Chennai, whichever works, basis the
Right.
crowd's interest.
And
That
that's
would be
how we
fun.
also met, right? So
Yeah,
I think that was good. Yeah, correct. Great. Thank you very much,
yeah,
Sanjeeth and Mukil. It was, really, this was a different kind of podcast for me compared to what I did before. I've done about 4 or 5 from the EdTech community because yours is more product AI, which the previous ones were, about Vardu, so I don't have to talk about it. It was the second one was a teacher. The third one
yeah.
was into the primary space in terms of life skills and all those things. I do have one more podcast that I have to still publish it. I have recorded it. It's just that I haven't gotten time, but now seems like I will have some time to publish it. So yours is the fifth one, if I'm not mistaken. But thank you very much for spending that time. I'm sure there is a lot of learnings for me, first of all, and then for the tech community and even beyond, right? Because your product goes beyond. And finally, I do want to wish both of you, good luck to you to your growth. And I'm sure whatever you're thinking of in the next 1, 2 years, you will achieve whatever you want to achieve. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks a lot, sir. I mean, it was likewise a good experience for us as well over the last, I think, 1 hour.
Yeah, I mean, in the last month, we had a lot of calls with investors, clients, and everything. And then these kind of conversations are much lighter and actually more therapeutical, I would say, to talk about what we have
Correct.
done. Also, looking back and like figuring out how we started there and now we are here. I think it's really nice. Thank you so much for having us on your show.
Great, great. Thank you.